Hello and welcome to another episode of the I Listen live audio podcast. I am Chiradip Patra, an author and life coach, and your host for tonight. I am thrilled to have a very special guest with us tonight, Miss Sunidhi Biswas, who is a communication coach, soft skills trainer, corporate trainer, and the founder of Power Talk. Before we dive into tonight's episode of Resilience and Joy Amidst Adversity, let me give you a brief introduction to iListen. iListen was founded by me in March 2023. It is a transformative movement dedicated to fostering active listening, character building, and strengthening relationships. Keeping the objective of iListen in mind, I conceptualized this podcast series called Resilience and Joy Amidst Adversity. This series allows us the opportunity to actively listen to various people who have gone through difficult life challenges or phases, especially those involving chronic illness. By acknowledging their struggles, we can learn from their experiences and apply those lessons to our own lives. Ms. Sunidhi Biswas has gone through similar challenging times in her life too. However, her passion to excel and her courage to overcome all adversities made her resilient. That's why I invited her to tonight's podcast to learn from her experiences and to allow all of you in the audience to learn from her as well. I want to confess that I made a mistake in the first podcast of this particular series. In that podcast, I was sharing my challenges with everyone, and Sunidhi was also part of the audience when I said, you may not have gone through such challenges, but maybe your family or friends have gone through it. Little did I know that amidst my audience was this dynamic young lady who had faced those challenges as well. Without further delay, I want to welcome Sunidhi to this podcast. Sunidhi, would you mind introducing yourself briefly?
Okay, so mic testing. Am I audible, Chiradip?
Yes, absolutely. Loud and clear.
Great. So, yes, introduction, well, you did give me one which was very, very flattering, I must admit. But other than that, I am just a communication coach and trainer who believes that we should be able to earn what we deserve. And if you want to go from point A to B, you need a mentor sometimes, somebody to hold your hand, somebody to guide you through.
Yes.
I strive to be somebody who can be that guide or help for the people who are willing to work for it. So everything I do, be it founding Power Talk, be it working and capable, all of it is just because I'm geared towards fulfilling this little dream of mine.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's start with your early life. Could you share a bit about your upbringing, schooling and background, a little bit about you, who Sunidhi is, apart from this professional communication coach or mentor that you explained initially? Yeah, something little about you, your personal life.
So I'm from a middle class family in Kolkata and born and brought up here. I'm very proud of being a Bengali. But my family, the four of us, my parents and my younger sister, we are incredibly close. We are like support systems for each other, and throughout my childhood that had been a theme. So even when I was being the black sheep or rebelling, showing my teenage rebellion at full front, they were very puzzled, but they would still be loving me. So that's how I've always grown up, knowing that I am loved even though I'm not understood. And one major thing, if you ask me about my personal side of life, is that for everybody that I talk to knows that my sister is the number one to me. Anything and everything in this world, nothing compares to her.
Wow.
So as I was discussing with Chiradip a couple of days ago, that I'm completely torn up that she decided to go to Gujarat to study archaeology. But then you need to let the ones you love go and set them free, so I had to. But still, I've got my parents with me over here. But as they keep reminding me, someday I will be flying the coup as well. As for my schooling, you see, I've changed school quite a bit. Because my father was always very ambitious about letting me have the best possible education that he could, even when he was constrained by financial issues. So I changed school as and when he could afford better. And I suffered through a lot of bullying in school because I was the typical tiny kid with two ponytails and glasses and a book in her hand who would sit in a corner and read the book rather than play. But it did give me the chance to make some brilliant friendships which are still there, and a chance to build relationship with teachers who are still in touch with me and are very eager and proud of me every time I have a new achievement.
Wonderful.
So I'll say that, yeah, it was not perfect, but I only see the brilliance that it contributed to my life.
And what about your college?
My college. College was the place where I realized for the first time that I am very uptight. Because I was meeting with people from different walks of life, somebody who was a businessman's son, somebody who had a shop, somebody who came from a completely educated family who were just focused in being as much as educated as possible. There were so many people I met. And I realized that how people have different perspectives, how people have different priorities in life. And honestly, college was the place I learned most of the things that have developed my philosophical life. They might not realize it because they are a chaotic mess, but my college friend and college group basically are the biggest sources of my growth in my life because I learned a lot from them without them even realizing it.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much. As we have come here to listen, something that you went through, some difficult phases of your life. So my next question is, you have faced significant health challenges. When were you first diagnosed with your chronic illness? And what was your initial reaction to that news?
See, it was very strange because when I was first seeing the problem, I didn't initially realize that it's a problem because you cannot get a diagnosis till somebody actually cuts you open.
Right.
But there were hints. The doctor would not say it up front. They just told me that do this might happen, etc., etc. Further, a couple more months down the line, he would say, you might want to explore this, read about this, but I am a very curious person. So I went ahead and searched online.
Okay.
And finally, the next time I went back 6 months later, I asked him that, do I have these? And he said, yes, but I'm trying to keep you away from surgery, which is why we're trying to control it with meds. So this process took a long back and forth because you don't visit doctors that frequently, especially getting an appointment is so difficult. So formal diagnosis came 3 years ago.
Okay.
But I had been dealing with it for maybe 5 or 6 years.
I see. And doctor confirmed that it is. Is it chronic or congenital?
It's a chronic disease.
Not a congenital one. Not from the
No,
birth.
it's a chronic. It's a chronic one, and it's very common nowadays.
Okay.
But since I have 2 of them, and at the same time they tend to contrast each other quite a bit, it became a very complicated situation because most meds are basically like doing opposite things.
I see. So, for my understanding and to give our listeners a better understanding, could you describe the nature of your chronic illness and how it affects your day-to-day life?
Okay. So, the name is endometriosis and PCOS.
Okay.
And people might have heard of it. A lot of women speak of PCOS, but I guess endometriosis is rarer. The problem with this is that these are gynecological issues, so nobody speaks up about them. But you don't realize that these gynecological issues actually end up affecting your entire life.
Uh,
How? I had to opt for work from home because I never know when the pain will strike and how incapacitated I'm going to be.
oh.
So I didn't choose to be home. I love interacting with people. When I go out, I used to interact with my colleagues and I miss that thing. But I don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Even a couple of days back, I think 3 days back, all of a sudden I was in so much pain
Mm-hmm.
that all I could do was not even make a sound.
Mm-hmm.
The pain is that immense and it makes no sense. There is no link to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden it would be like any part of the body will pain,
Mm-hmm.
and you know that there is no explanation because this disease is so strange.
Mm-hmm.
It's so very strange, and endometriosis and PCOS contradict each other quite a bit because they have opposite hormonal imbalances.
Mm-hmm.
And I have only one way, that is if I get a surgery and get my the extra ends that are fried, or if I completely remove my uterus. But that's a drastic step, and we know women are the ones who give birth to children.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they will not perform the surgery because I'm still of an age where I might get married and still have children.
Okay. Okay.
Not that I want to go for the surgery now,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have a choice but live with the pain.
Mm. So, despite these challenges, you have shown remarkable resilience. What has helped you find the strength to keep going, even on the toughest days?
See, resilience is just probably a nicer word of saying that we had to survive and we couldn't give up. We had to be stubborn about it.
Mm.
And as you might know, Chiyodeep, you have also suffered through the same. And I think you will agree that if we gave up, that's the end. There's no more story after it.
Yes, I agree.
So I
with that.
realized that all these years in school of people telling, oh, you have so much merit, you're so intelligent, would all go down the drain if I did nothing. And the main thing in life is that I'm always very focused in trying to be the best possible role model I can be for my sister.
Mm.
That is the core principle I have to everything I do.
Mm.
So I realized that yes, I can sit and cry about it,
Mm.
or I can be a better example
Mm.
and just be stubborn about it that no, you are not taking my dreams away from me.
Mm.
I'll make something out of it.
Mm.
So it's sheer stubbornness that pushed me through.
Mm. Yeah, like because I know when, as you said, you have to be very stubborn and tough to handle tough situations. Take the difficult situation head on. You know, so that head on is very easy to say, but it is sometimes it is deliberate. You know, deliberately. And in the wild, if we see in the wild, animals, they struggle, they fight to survive. And in the same way, if we don't fight with our struggles, then it becomes very, the struggles will be, it will be overpowering us in our day-to-day lives. And I agree with you completely that sometimes you have to be very stubborn to fight it out. Well done, Sunidhi. So, while managing a chronic illness we know that often requires a strong support system and effective strategies. And how have your family members supported you in this journey? Could you share a bit about them and how they have helped you manage these challenges? I know you have already spoken about them and spoken about your bonding with each other, especially your sister. So, what is their role in your, while you are going through pain and challenges like this?
So initially it was very difficult for them to understand because they don't have any point of reference. My dad definitely doesn't. But for my mother and sister, they thought of comparing it to menstrual pains.
Yeah.
But but it's 1,000 times worse.
Mm.
So initially they didn't take it that seriously. They were like, okay, take your meds, we are here for you. Or they would tell me that it's okay, I'll buy you ice cream and cheer me up like that. But then they would see that there were days where I could do nothing. I would just curl up on the bed and stay like that for 24 hours because I didn't have a choice. Or when I actually blacked out from pain one day.
Oh, really?
Yes. And then they started changing it. My dad started researching and learning about it. My sister, who was a tiny kid at that point,
Yeah.
she was just in her teens, she would still go and ask and try to know. She would ask me, how is it paining? How can I make it better? My mother started doing whatever nuskha she could find. They were trying to contribute in their own ways. They were trying to make me feel better in the ways that they could. Not that it was smooth sailing always, because when you have constant pain, you get very irritated easily. So I would be snapping, and I was in the stage of teenage years where you're always annoyed with everybody. You feel like nobody's on your side. So I would snap, they would snap back, and it led to a lot of confrontations, but it would always solve because one of us would be like, okay, it's the pain making you do this. Let's find a way to fix it. So the support has always been there, at least from my family. I have not been very outspoken about this with people, but little by little, like a couple of trusted people at the workplace, a couple of friends, they would know. But I have never announced it because, as you know, that I'm a very private person. I'm not hiding it, but I'm not announcing it either because I'm not answerable to anybody outside my family.
True. I understand that. And thank you, Huzafa, for showing that heart. And I am sure the audience is enjoying. Swapna, I will definitely allow you to speak at the end. So be ready with your questions. Don't ask difficult questions to Sunidhi. Ask easy questions, which I always want from the audience, not to make my guests uncomfortable by asking difficult questions. Anyway, so moving on. Let me ask a question, like reflecting on your journey, personal or professional. Can you describe a particularly tough period? Suppose you, you were outside or somewhere and you felt that pain, that grueling pain, that intolerable pain, something that has happened and you struggled so much. But at the end, you got a key lesson out of it. Any incident that happened concerning your health, or something you want to share?
It's very funny you're asking me this because the incident happened very close to where you are, in Bhubaneswar.
In Bhubaneswar?
So I was going, yes, in Bhubaneswar. So I was going for an outstation training.
Okay.
I had to go there and conduct the training and come back all on my own. Nobody was there. That was the first time I was traveling somewhere without my family. I've never been anywhere alone. And unfortunately, we couldn't get any flight or train tickets. There was a problem. I think that time only that train derailment happened and we were very concerned. So I had to go by bus.
Okay.
The sleeper buses, and I took it. I was fine. Like, okay, I'll get some space to myself. I have my headphones, I have books, I have lots of stickers. I'm set. But suddenly, like 7 hours left to reach Bhubaneswar, I remember the pain struck. And the space is very small in those buses. I was thinking like, what do? I can't even curl up over here. It was a bizarre kind of conundrum that I was in. So all I could do was just grit my teeth and bear it. There was nothing I could have done.
Like there is no medicine or painkiller, something which you can gulp and Nothing like that?
Their as you know, painkillers are of different levels, right?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
increase in intensity.
Correct, correct.
But the problem is lower intensity doesn't work. Higher intensity gives stomach upset.
Yeah.
So my doctor also says that why don't you take meds? But one, I'm not a big believer in taking meds willy-nilly anytime like that. When it gets very extreme, I might take a med, but I know that that's going to lead me to have stomach upset later, which will again give me more pain.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a very confusing situation, but like that only, the pain stopped after about 20-25 minutes.
Wow.
Then I went to the hotel, and it was a huge hotel. I was feeling very scared that I might mess up somewhere. I entered the room, video called my family that I was reached and everything. Finally, when the dinner time came, I went and ordered food. I went to the restaurant. Pain struck again. And I have food in front of me and I can't eat.
My goodness.
The entire food had to be just returned. I couldn't eat anything.
Oh.
And I felt so very guilty about it because it looked beautiful, it tasted great, and it was expensive as hell.
Oh
It
my
was
goodness.
it was Mayfair.
Oh.
It was Mayfair. And I came back to the room and I called my mom, and I was so sad that because my mom is always very particular about not wasting money, not wasting resources. And I apologized to her and said that I'm so sorry, but I was so much in pain. And my mom, of course, called me silly and told me to go to sleep and not worry about it so much. But I was scared that what will I do? How am I supposed to survive the next 2 days? Then again take a bus and go back. Because by then it had become scary. But it worked out. It worked out. I survived. And I ended up making friends with a lot of the hotel staff. So that was a plus point for me.
Wow.
And in the journey back, there was a little kid who had decided that I have to tell her stories all night, and her mother grudgingly gave her to me. So it was a adventurous journey, I must say, with
Wow.
pain and with a lot of gain.
Wow. That's truly encouraging, and really, I mean, I'm thrilled. I mean, you go through pain, yet you still have that agility or the enthusiasm to mix with people and connect with people and enjoy with them, enjoy your life as well. That is commendable, Sunidhi. Despite your health challenges, you have built an impressive career as a communication coach and soft skill trainer at such a young age. What inspired you to choose this path and pursue it with such passion?
See, I came about into the soft skills industry and communication by quite a bit of an accident and quite a bit of an intentional practice. But if you say how I overcame everything and did it, I mean, we just have to look at everybody else. There's one thing I firmly believe, that every human being has challenges.
Yeah.
Every human being has their share of troubles that they deal with, and sometimes we don't see it and we think they're happy, but somewhere in their life they are also struggling.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody in this audience also agrees, because they also have overcome a lot of things
Absolutely.
and we might never find out. So inspiration for me is everywhere. But the one I take most heart from is my father, whom I have seen go through the struggle. And I don't think I have made a lot of noise about who he is if he's on LinkedIn, because he is there, but I don't. And there was a time when my dad didn't have a single paisa in his pocket for 5 months. I was tiny back at that point. I was a kid, I barely understood anything. But I could see the tension, the body. And I had realized that he was still fighting for us, for the family. So even now, when I would feel like I cannot move, I'm in so much pain, I'm not able to work today, not able to take sessions, I tell myself that I have to fight. I have to do it, because I cannot give up now.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who are still going for it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who have gone through much worse and they are still trying. So if I give up now, I will be disappointing myself.
Mm.
And communication, I was not very good in communication. Like I said, I was a complete introvert, still an introvert, and I would be always sitting in the corner. I got bullied. That also impacted my communication.
Mm. Mm.
So I wasn't good at it. I used to be very, very blunt, which also translates into my words now because I often am very frank.
Yeah.
But I learned it.
Mm.
I learned it from the people I would be training, the people I used to teach.
Mm.
Because you have to modulate what you are saying. You have to be tactical. You have to be strategic if you want your audience to understand your point or agree with you.
Mm.
So it was a trial and error before I actually took formal education about it. But like they say, life is the biggest teacher, and I learned mostly of it through experience before I realized that this is something that can be made into a career.
Mm. True.
I hope that answers your question. I think
Yes.
I went off on a tangent.
No, absolutely. You answered my question. And yeah, probably the next question, when you answer my next question, probably it will clarify it, or it will explain your answer further. So, like,
Okay.
looking back at your career, professional career, what has been the most rewarding experience for you so far? You were challenged. You are an introvert. You are a private person, but you wanted to be a communication coach. So, how did you manage? No, already you have spoken about that, but there must be a rewarding experience for you till now. So, explain
Every
it.
day is a reward, every day is a reward. But
No,
the one thing I find
just
most rewarding.
one rewarding experience that will boost us, like that will help us, encourage us in our life. Yeah, please go on.
So that's very strange to think about, because there are people who have come back to me saying that they got their dream job, they got their things settled, and I've worked with really, really high profile people who I would get intimidated by, but then I would realize that, I give my everything when I get a client.
Hmm.
So even if I don't know something, I'd go and research and learn and then come back and tell them.
Wow.
But I think the most rewarding part is that more than 80% of my clients come just from referrals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't have much of an online presence because I don't understand social media much. But like Huzaifa knows, Huzaifa also did it from his LinkedIn profile from Yogesh. And Yogesh is fantastic about everything. And while we were in the meeting, he told me that, okay, how do you get your clients and everything? And I was like, it's references. He's like, सिर्फ references से हो जाता है. I was like, वही से आता है. I have never advertised or done anything like that. But yes, at the same time, these people are very private. They will not come up and give a video testimonial or talk about it. But they're connected to me on WhatsApp and they will talk to me on special occasions, wish me on my birthday. And
Wonderful.
I've met so many people. So the
Wonderful.
rewarding part over here is that I can say that I never needed ads.
True.
My capability spoke for me.
Yeah. That really encouraged me. That really boosted me, Sunidhi. That particular statement you made, that will give me a lot of encouragement. Yeah, Shipra knows. I was sharing with her, and like I was also like in a pressure to post regularly this that, but I know how it works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I will definitely remember the last statement you made. Yeah, you don't understand. You said you don't understand social media at all, and you are getting referrals and clients. Wow, that is wonderful. I will definitely remember that. So moving forward, I want to know about Power Talk. You founded Power Talk, which is a significant achievement, I would say. because I take pride in iListen. I founded in 2023. Dil ठोक के मैं बोलता हूँ. So you should be talking about Power Talk, and I have also part of Power Talk. Probably your first podcast. I'm the one who was the guest. So I take pride in that also. I am the first guest of Power Talk. So you founded Power Talk, which is what inspired you to start this venture? What is its mission? We understood Sunidhi's mission and vision. We want to understand Power Talk का mission क्या है? What is Power Talk's mission?
So I'll tell you how it came about. Okay.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk. Everybody would always, push the freelancing, etc., etc. And I was doing it. And in one of the corporate sessions, I met somebody who was so savvy in their work and so suave when he was speaking in his mother tongue. And I was super impressed. And later on, when I talked to him about his designation and all, he was just a technician. It was an automobile industry training, and he was just a technician. I asked that you should be there in the service. You should be a high-level service executive because your skills are impeccable. And he just laughed and said that, ma'am, but I don't have the qualifications. I said, what do you mean? You have a bachelor's. He said, but I did it in a vernacular language. It's not in English. I cannot speak English, and customers nowadays, they always want you to speak in English and know about what they are talking, what is trending. I don't know all that. And I'll admit, I got a bit stubborn, and I said, okay, meet me at this time tomorrow. I'll send you a Google Meet link. We'll figure it out. I worked with him, and I charged very less to him because if I don't charge, it will not have value. Basic thing we all have learned. So I charged him very low, something that he could afford. Though he did tell me that I know you're intentionally lowering your prices, but yeah, I still took it him. And it took him 6 months. He got the promotion.
Wow.
And I realized that I want to do that.
Wow.
I want to help people get from point A to point B so that they are able to actually earn what they deserve.
Wow.
And yeah, and I was talking to my partner and my family about it, and they said that great, if you want to have a startup of your own about it and just focus on that, you can do it. I decided that I'll do it. And the first thing my father says was that if you are going into business, remember, first 3 years you will see no profit. Be prepared to just let your money down the drain. I was like, fine. But if I'm able to benefit some people's life whose blessings I'm going to collect, great, I'm doing it.
Super.
And I did it.
Super.
So most of the things I do are very strangely reasoned, but they are like this only.
Yeah. Superb. Thank you so much. So my final question is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners about your journey or your work, or a piece of advice that you want to give? I'm sure the audience is thrilled. Whoever has joined here, please confirm that you all were encouraged, all of you, with a heart probably.
If I just made your listening worthwhile, that's probably the most satisfying thing to me right now. But I'd like to share a little thing with everyone here. I may not know all of you, though I see some familiar names. But know why you do what you do. You need to know what exactly drives you, what makes you get up in the morning.
Super.
Just like Simon Sinek's Why. That video changed my life. I figured out my why, and now everything is easier. I know my priorities. I know why I have to get up or why I have to take a leave any day. Do I still get scoldings from my manager because I am a workaholic? But still, you need to know about yourself at the core. Don't ever lie to yourself. You can lie to the world, but if you lie to yourself, that's the most damaging thing ever. So it doesn't have to be something very impressive. I told you that
Yeah,
what
yeah.
drives me every day is to be a good role model to my younger sister.
Correct.
Very small,
Very
very
small.
selfish thing, but that's what drives me. So when
Super.
I'm taking a decision in my life, I have the complete clarity about why, what, and how.
Lovely. I have learned so many things from Sunidhi. I'm sure the audience has learned so many things. Now, at this moment, I will definitely ask one or two persons, whoever has any questions can raise their hands and I will bring them up. Anybody? Yeah, Sapna, you wanted to ask. I will allow you first. Unmute yourself and speak.
Hello everyone, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good
Hi
evening.
Sunidhi. Hi Sunidhi. I totally understand the journey of endometriosis. And the pain which you are explaining is, we can't keep it in words, how well you can communicate it. Because that is someone who is pushing some demon inside, right?
Yes.
So I think we need to articulate better more on the endometriosis, but thankfully we have many forums where we are having the education on endometriosis. But the thing is that it should start from school level.
I
Because
think so, but there's a lot of missing in school level already, so this is not getting enough focus.
and also like at school level, when we are into a teenage, we are like more into, we don't understand what are our hormones, we don't understand why we have sugar carvings, and we are more exposed to dietary, bakery items, all those. But I think if the education starts from there, then definitely we can overcome this endometriosis. But still, lot of education need to be given to the younger children. So that is the primary focus on the endometriosis. And whatever the combination Sunidhi is saying, like endometriosis with PCODs or endometriosis with fibroids, or because I know many of my friends, same like Sunidhi at 25, where they need to get married, they need to understand, they need to conceive naturally. Still, it is like a very different management level. Still, we will overcome that. It makes us more stronger to be like normal. We don't want much of sympathy. As Sunidhi said, we need to announce it, yet we should not get notified. That is the part of endometriosis.
I'll agree with that. We don't want sympathy, but we also don't want you to, look at us if we are aliens coming from Mars.
Right, and it should be, for example, if our body have a fever or we have some virus, it need to be spoken normally. It need not to be cornered as like you have been tagged like endometriosis, you have been tagged like PCOD. But whenever I want to take a leave, medical leave, it should be a norm that today I have my periods because of endometriosis. It should be taken in a very normal way. Like we should not make them corner that okay, this so human is having endometriosis, because every reproductive organ will have some, what you say, some medical issues. That is very much normal. Or even the men will have some reproductive diseases, right? We should not highlight them unnecessarily. It need to be like a very normal thing. Even in leaves also, I need to hide. For example, if I have any cramps, still old school, I need to say I have fever. But I want to say that I have periods, so I'm taking leave. That should be normal, right? So Sunidhi, I totally understand where it is coming, but it is not only us, people around us, apart from family members, our peers also need to understand that. We should not point out that so and so person keeping more leaves, but they also want to contribute the same amount of professional life the way other people, right? Because I know many of the endometriosis patients have given up their professional lives because of leaves. Many of my friends I have known. So I totally understand what Sunidhi is coming. But in India, luckily we got good amount of doctors and forums where right now they are supporting it. So
Absolutely true. Absolutely.
yeah,
A lot of people are discussing it. There are support groups also.
yeah.
So I'm glad that people are picking up on it, but it's going to take time.
Yeah.
Progress takes time.
I'm sure everything like whether it is about this disease or mental health issues or whatever
Everything.
that are not coming up, and this awareness, slowly people are getting aware of things, so slowly things will change. It will take definitely.
And
Yeah.
I really appreciate Sunidhi by taking all these challenges. She never like left behind with the career, and she moved on, and that is very. I think that we need to appreciate in that part, Sunidhi. I'm not giving any empathy or sympathy, but I really appreciate your courage, and
Wonderful.
that is a good takeaway from you,
Wonderful.
Sunidhi.
Thank you so much, Swapna.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Huzafa. Next is Huzafa.
Hello, am I audible?
Crystal.
Great. Good evening, Chiradeep ji. Good evening, Sunidhi, and
Good evening.
everybody listening to this podcast. Firstly, I did not know your entire life journey as such, Sunidhi, though we have interacted a lot of times
Yes.
and we've been engaged with each other on a lot of different professional levels. But I think this podcast, this audio has changed my entire perspective about you. Of course, I did look up to your skills, but now I have started looking up to you as a person. Thoroughly an inspiration to everybody out here and everybody in your own life as well who has ever interacted with you. Hats off to your entire journey. Well, keeping it very crisp, just a question I currently am in touch with. Of course, there are 2 to 3 women in my life who do have PCOS. I suppose that I'm doing enough to just be there for them when they need it, but I would like to know from you that for the opposite gender, is there anything that you would like to tell them when they come across someone who's going through such a, such kind of a process or that kind of a pain or any such disorder? Is there any advice that you have for people from the opposite gender?
It's very simple but also very complicated because it will depend on their love language, but for me a hug always works. That's the best thing. You don't always have to go and sympathize, but go and sit beside them. Tell them that it's okay. If they are somebody who will get cheered up by ice cream, probably give ice cream. Make your bad jokes because you know what? The authenticity that you care will shine through anyway. We are very canny about it, we'll figure it out. Other than that, just one more thing. I have recently discovered a brilliant device called a WellMe. If you want, I'll share the link with you. My dad got it for me. But it really works very well when the pain strikes up, especially if it's cramp related or anything.
Right, I think that was amazing. I will surely look into that device myself and see what I can actually get out of it. But thank you so much for that lovely answer. And again, you're doing amazing about Power Talk and about your professional skills. I think we've discussed enough, and you are surely doing well up in terms of your professional realm. So all the best with your journey and more power to you.
Thank you, thank you. I look forward to collab with you again.
Absolutely, very soon.
And me too.
Of course, that doesn't even need to be said.
No, I'm just.
That happens every day in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, Sunny. Go ahead.
Hello everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, absolutely.
Nice. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Chiradeep sir, for hosting this wonderful audio podcast. Sunidhi ji, really hats off to the amount of energy levels that you have. You are making justice to the podcast when you shared your story and the fact that you're vulnerable and the struggles that you've gone through. Again, echoing the same sentiment that Huzafa has said, more power to you. And perhaps this was more of an eye-opener for a lot of individuals, including me, that apart from menstrual cramps, there are other medical conditions that women go through. In fact, for the first time I heard about this condition. Not just Sunidhi, even Swapna for that matter, okay? And so many other women like you who go through this condition day in and day out. And the thing in India is that there is a lot of lack of awareness. Okay, now because probably we are in tier one, tier two cities, we have the medical facilities available. There is some amount of awareness, but my heart goes out to those places like tier three cities and villages where there is lack of awareness and a lack of medical facilities, and there's a taboo associated, or for that matter, a lot of times it's made fun of. That's the sad reality of our country.
True.
So more power to women like you who are going ahead and making bringing up this topic, speaking up, okay, openly in an open forum like this, so that there is more awareness and people take it seriously. And that's the way forward for it. And one more point, guys, this is not just for women, for men also. Like Sunidhi ji, you mentioned that even men have certain conditions. Being a relationship coach, I get a lot of people who are not able to have sexual intimacy only because of the fact they are not sexually compatible with their partner, for the fact that they have some underlying sexual medical condition. And again, like I said, people make fun, people are embarrassed, or people just हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना सह लेने का, चुपचाप रहने का. Yeah, that's what people do.
Yeah.
And that's a very wrong thing. It's very a lot of self harm that people do to themselves. So great podcast, guys. Again, thanks to everyone who joined in, especially Chiradeep for organizing this, and Sunidhi ji for bringing up this insightful interview that came from you. And more power to you guys. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sunny.
I'd like to just express an extra thank you to Sunny and Josefa, because what I have had to do all my life is desensitize men and all the boys I would meet, because I would be like, oh my god, my cramps are so bad today. And they just look like deers in headlights and they don't know anything, what to do, what not to do. They get panicked. And then I'm like, dude, calm down. It's okay. Get me a hot water bag or just sit here और मेरे bag में से उनको chocolate निकाल के दो. And I would do this again and again till they are finally like, oh, it's your date, right? ठीक है, तुम बैठो. हम hot water bag लाता है. And I've desensitized so many seniors and classmates since I was in school, because I felt like this is natural. This is a body. We have bodies and bodies are weird. They do things. But boys don't usually speak up about anything like this. Just like Sunny ji said, there is this whole stigma on men being perfect because they have to take the responsibility. They cannot show any kind of weakness, that they don't even show this empathy or show this knowledge. But kudos that they did. I hope that it becomes infectious and a lot more people pick up on it, because this is not rocket science. This is just plain old body. It's the same as mucus dropping from your nose. Body is weird. Accept it.
Great.
Yeah, my monologue is done.
So, just I want to add few more points to Sunidhi. Just while we are talking that, in that way, because my husband is into biotechnology, so many of my friends who have endometriosis and PCODs, they will consult him to talk about their reproductive organs, Day and night he counsels n number of people regarding the reproductive organs. They are shameful to talk with their partners and fathers, but they call my husband in the midnight saying that we don't know what to do with this situation. So in that way, I am so proud that more than me, he get lot of, sisters who want counseling from him, because he is into microbiology and all those things. So I'm very happy that, men like him, or here also Hafiz and Sunny, they are speaking. We need men like them who want to react exactly and how we behave. So I really appreciate, these people who are coming into the forums and speaking about it, where we can also feel normal. And as Sunny said, even men will have the issues, but as a woman, we need to also understand it is a vice versa process. So when it happens, I think we'll be having a good ecosystem.
Great. Thank you so much, Sapna, for adding this wonderful, valued statements. I thank all of you. Shipra, you are the only one left. Do you want to speak? You can just So thumbs up or thumbs down, or say stay silent for me to understand that you don't want to ask. Anyway, I think you don't want to ask anything. You understood everything. Thank you so much, Shipra, Sunny, Swapna, and Josefa, for joining in and encouraging us, listening to us. Otherwise, ये तो घर का मामला हो जाता. We two people, we have bond connection, Sunidhi and me. I stayed in Kolkata, so we would have started chit-chatting in Bengali अगर कोई join नहीं करता. So it's good that you guys joined, and thank you so much. That's why we could hold this podcast of mine. And thank you. And I am taking a lot of learnings today, a lot of lessons. I will jot down, and that will definitely going to help me in my life as well. I'm sure you have also taken. We learned so many things. Thank you so much, Sunidhi. Thank you for honoring my invitation. God bless you, and may He prosper you more in your field, fighting with your challenges.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, and I wish you all a good day, and make sure you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Because it might not be chronic, but if you ever do get sick, remember to be kind to yourself.
Yes.
That's very necessary.
Yes. Okay. Bye-bye. Good night. Good night, Sunidhi. Good night, all of you.
Good night, everybody.